function parameters. Each function parameter is a simple identifier that you can access in the local scope. And here we have an example. We have the structure of this function. So we have the function name, my function, myfunc, short for my function. Inside of the parentheses we have three parameters, the parameter a, b, and c. And inside of the curly braces is where you would write your code. You can access the values of the parameters a, b, and c from here. And we can grab this example. We can go to any tab, pressing Ctrl Shift I, and I'm gonna paste it here. And I'll have to write something inside of the curly braces. So I'm gonna type in, I don't know, I'm just gonna return something. Let's see, return, I don't know, return 10, and that with a semicolon. And if I press enter, nothing's gonna happen. I'm just gonna get undefined. I need to call in the function, and the way you call in the function is writing its name. This case is myfunc, short for my function, and at the end don't forget the parentheses. So if I press enter, the result that I'm gonna get is gonna be the number 10, and there you have it. So there are three special parameter syntaxes, and we have the default parameters allows formal parameters to be initialized with default values if no value or undefined is passed. The rest parameter allows representing an indefinite number of arguments as an array. And finally we have the destructuring. Destructuring allows unpacking elements from arrays or properties from objects into distinct variables. And again they give us this example here as before, but again we have this function name myfunc, short for my function. Inside of the parentheses, in this case we have three parameters. We have this array, this object of two elements a and b. The second parameter is going to be the variable c that is assigned to the number 1, and the third parameter is going to be the rest property, and you write it with 3 dots or ellipses and then the keyword rest. We close the parentheses and then we open the curly braces, and from here you can access the values of a, b, and c and the rest property here. So that is that. There are some consequences if one of the above non-simple parameter syntaxes is used. You cannot apply use strict to the function body. This causes a syntax error. Even if the function is not in strict mode, the arguments object stops syncing with the name parameters, and arguments callee throws an error when accessed. So here the arguments object. You can refer to a function's arguments within the function by using the arguments object. And again we have the links here if you want to read more. So here we have arguments, an array-like object containing the arguments passed to the currently executing function. We have the arguments that callee the currently executing function. We have arguments that length the number of arguments passed to the function. And now we got the getter and setter functions. You can define accessor properties on any standard built-in object or user-defined object that supports the addition of new properties within object literals and classes. You can use special syntaxes to define the getter and setter of an accessor property. So here we have the get. This is this concept. The get syntax binds an object property to a function that will be called when that property is looked up. We have the set syntax, binds an object property to a function to be called when there is an attempt to set that property. Note that these syntaxes create an object property, not a method. The getter and setter function themselves can only be accessed using reflective API, such as the object that get property descriptor with parentheses at the end. So now we have the black label functions. In a strict mode, functions inside blocks are scoped to that block. Prior to the ES 2015, black label functions were forbidden in a strict mode. And here they're giving us this example. We're using a strict mode, and we do it with this string use strict. Inside of double quotes we end up with a semicolon, and now we have a function named f, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna return the number 1. We close the curly braces of the function f, and outside of the function f, outside, we're gonna open a new set of curly braces, and inside of that set of curly braces we're gonna type in again the function f, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna return the number 2. We close the curly braces of the function f, and then we close the curly braces of the set of curly braces that we just opened. So right now, when we have this equal statement, we have the function f is equal to the number 1. When you have the triple sign, the triple equal sign, it means equality. So when the function f is equal to the number 1, then it's gonna be true. We're gonna return a boolean true. But when we are not in a strict mode, if we don't use a strict mode, the result that we are gonna get is gonna be the number 2. So the function f is not gonna be equal to 1, it's gonna be equal to 2 when we are in a strict mode. And we can grab this example and check it out. So we clean it up with Control L or just pressing the circle. Okay, so right now I'm gonna clean it up here a little bit. So right now we're using use strict. So when we call in the function here, I press enter, I'm gonna get the boolean true. Why? Because the function f is pretty much equal to 1. Is equal to 1. So we also can do this. We can call in the function, and we put the parentheses at the end, and the result that we're gonna get is gonna be 1. So now what happens when we are not using the use strict? I'm gonna comment it, and now let me try it. When I press enter, I'm not gonna get true, I'm gonna get the boolean false. Okay, why? Because the function f is not equal to 1, the function f is equal to 2. So if I go here and I call in the function, the result that I'm gonna get is number 2. Why? Because we are not using the strict mode. So here you have the function f, and it's returning the number 1. And outside of the function f, we are open a new set of curly braces, and we're passing again the function f, and this time is going to be returned the number 2. That is the reason when I call in the function f, the result that I'm going to get is going to be the number 2, not the number 1. That is if we are not using the strict mode. But here, once again, if I uncomment this statement, and now we are using a strict mode, so now the result that I'm gonna get is gonna be true, and the boolean true, and the result is gonna be 1. So here's the result 1, and I'm gonna get the boolean true.